Hey, good buddy.
Oh, hi, Carl. What's up?
Hello, Carl. So, what are you selling today?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, I have a question for you two about my latest purchase. I just bought myself a lot on eBay full of these vintage collectible Star Wars action figures. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, yeah, I hear there's a pretty good demand for that sort of thing. Well, that's what I hear too, and that's what I'm hoping on. But you see, in this lot, most of them are labeled like Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back. But I ran across one that was labeled Star Wars Droids. Now, I wasn't sure if this was authentic, but I figured you guys, you know about this stuff, so I thought I'd ask you. What do you know about this Star Wars Droids? Oh yeah, I know Star Wars Droids. That was a Saturday morning cartoon series in the 80s. It came out in 1985, I think. And it was part of the attempt from Lucasfilm to kind of keep the Star Wars franchise alive without any new movies to fill that void. So you think it's authentic then? Oh, I don't know why it wouldn't be. Hey, I tell you what, why don't we do our next review on Star Wars Droids? And then you can learn more about it. Well, I'm much obliged, my friends.
Okay, we're doing Star Wars Droids. Title card, let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Commander Go Show. And please welcome my co-host, who is not a droid, but he is a dinosaur, Bruce, the Belligerent Brontosaurus.
Hello, mammals. Go. What kind of intro was that? That wasn't even funny. Yeah, I'm a dinosaur. I'm not a droid. There's not even really any joke there.
Is it? Maybe the fact that there isn't a joke is the joke.
No. This non-funny, humor, I don't buy it. Whatever, just, do better next time.
Okay. Alright, so we're doing Star Wars Droids. I am Amazatron. I am a droid. Will you be my new owner?
Oh, no, not you again. Oh, come on.
Amazatron, I am your owner. I've been your owner. I've been your owner since Christmas. What is this about? Thank you for becoming my new owner. As a droid, I must witness the adventures of each and every new owner and save the information in my databanks for processing through the medium of motion pictures.
I see. So you think that because the Star Wars movies are framed from the droid's perspective, that if you just go through a series of owners, then you'll get to be in the movies telling their stories from your perspective. Yeah, right. Okay. You're insane. Okay, just because you do that doesn't mean they're gonna put you in a movie. You see, when they make a movie, they decide ahead of time on how they're gonna frame it, from what character's perspective, and then they write that character. They don't go looking for you to already exist.
I stand ready to assist you in any capacity as your droid.
Okay, he's ignoring me.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Amazatron, here's something you can do for us. Can you intro our review of Star Wars Droids for us? Yes, I am programmed for over 6 million forms of introduction. All right, have at it then. Hey, boys and girls, don't touch that dial, because the review of Star Wars Droids is coming up right after this. By the way, if you would like to see more content about pop culture, movies, and TV, then click that subscribe button. And hey, it just might brighten your day too. And now, on with the show. Star Wars Droids, The Adventures of R2-D2 and C-3PO is an animated series from 1985 that originally aired on ABC on Saturday mornings as part of the Ewoks and Droids Adventure Hour. It follows the original Star Wars characters R2-D2 and C-3PO as they pass through a series of different owners before they came to be owned by Luke Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. For this review, we will be looking at the first 4 episodes, which covers the first story arc of the series, chronicling the story of the droid's time with one of these owners. In the first episode, R2 and 3PO have just been abandoned on a desert planet by their last owner. The duo begins wandering the desert in search of a new owner. They soon encounter a pair of land speeders racing in the desert. Soon, one of them notices the droids and stops to take a closer look. His name is Thal, and he and his friend Jord are race drivers and have built a custom speeder to enter in a big race coming up soon on the planet Bunta, and are here in the desert practicing. 3PO explains their situation and that they are looking for a new owner, so Thal claims them, taking them with them in the speeder as they continue racing. But their race takes them into a restricted area under the control of Tig, a high-ranking member of a local crime family. The speeders trigger automated defense drones, which attack, eventually leading to Jord being captured and taken to Tig. The whole thing is observed by Kia, a freedom fighter investigating Tig's secret base in this area as part of her goal to free the people of this region of the galaxy from the various crime families that control them. Kia joins up with Thal and the droids to try to rescue the captured Jord, but this rescue draws them all into Tig's plot to build a secret weapon that will allow him to dominate all the other crime families. Will Kia, the racers, and the droids succeed in defeating this ultimate weapon, and will they make it to the big Bunta race? Or will R2 and 3PO's new owner be their last? Wait, weren't R2 and 3PO given to Captain Antilles by Bail Organa at the end of Revenge of the Sith? The same Captain Antilles that was their last owner before Luke Skywalker? How could they have gone through all these owners? Well, the series is no longer considered canon since Disney bought Star Wars in 2014. But between the release of Revenge of the Sith and 2014, the official explanation from Lucasfilm was that the droids were lost by Captain Antilles during a pirate raid shortly after Revenge of the Sith, leading to them going through a series of owners before being returned to Captain Antilles shortly before A New Hope. So, if you really want to think of this as canon, there is a way to reconcile it, even if it isn't officially considered canon now. But, other than the droids' personal backstories, the story does seem pretty consistent with official canon regarding the state of the galaxy during that era. The canon depicts the Empire being the dominant power, but on the outskirts of the galaxy, where the Empire's forces are spread thin and maintaining active control is just too much trouble, crime families served as the de facto government, with rival families often battling for control. And this is exactly what we see in this series. Yeah, and there's the racing thing too. It's been a few times that Star Wars has hinted that racing is a really popular sport there. Right, although after The Phantom Menace, it's usually pod racing that they're referring to when talking about racing, but in this series it's about racing land speeders, since the concept of racing pods hadn't been thought of yet by the writers in the 1980s. Sure, but it still makes sense. If they like racing, and land speeders exist, why wouldn't they race them too? Yeah, and then there's the Bunta connection too. In The Phantom Menace, the race is called the Bunta Eve race, referring to a holiday that is celebrated with a race. In this series, the big race is called the Bunta race, named after the planet on which it's held. So, there is a lot of Star Wars backstory that made its way into this series that seemed to be pretty much settled, or at least almost settled, when this was written back in '85. It's an interesting time capsule about the state of Star Wars back in that nebulous time after the original trilogy was finished, but before there were any plans to ever make the prequel trilogy. I also liked the animation. Sure, it's not perfect, and it did seem to have issues with keeping the characters on model sometimes, but it really captured that 80s fantasy art feeling. It is a lot like the Star Wars concept art created by Ralph McQuarrie, but simplified for animation. And it is nice to see Star Wars in 2D animation. There aren't too many examples of that. Just this series, its sister series Ewoks, and the Clone Wars micro-series.
Well, don't forget the cartoon segment from that Star Wars holiday special. But then again, no one wants to see the Star Wars holiday special.
Well, yes, that was certainly a unique holiday special, but that's a subject for another time.
Okay, so recommendation time, Go. What do you say?
I will recommend this, but mainly for hardcore Star Wars fans, or those with a strong sense of nostalgia for the 80s. And I would also say that those who are both fans of Star Wars and fans of 2D animation. If you fall into any of these categories, I think you'll like this. But if you're only a casual Star Wars fan or are indifferent to the Star Wars franchise, you can probably pass on this one.
Now I must leave you to find a new owner so I can witness more new adventures.
You're leaving? Hallelujah, my prayers have been answered.
Amazatron, you always disappear whenever you feel like it, sometimes for weeks at a time. How is this any different?
I will tell your story. Farewell.
Good riddance.
He'll be back.
Don't say that. Why won't you just let me believe?
Well, we'll talk about this later. So long, folks.